So we're going to get underway with our foundations class. Today we're going to be talking all about the hips, and we're going to be talking about the glutes and how they relate to happy, healthy hips. We're going to find a neutral pelvis, talk about what that is, what it looks like, and how to incorporate it throughout your yoga practice. As I said, you may want some blocks to hand, something to lift the floor up to you, and you may want to have maybe a cushion or a pillow to sit up on if you have difficulty in poses like Sukhasana or Gomukhasana. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on our backs today. So come into a comfortable position here on your back. Bring your feet about as wide as your mat and your knees together. It may feel nice to bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. If it's available to you, close your eyes and mouth. Begin to breathe in and out of your nose. And as always, we'll use the first few moments here on our mat to start to cultivate mindfulness and presence. Begin to observe your breath without trying to alter it. Notice what your breath feels like today. And notice where in the body you feel your breath moving. Notice what your breath sounds like. Use this awareness of your breath to ground you down into the body and into the present moment here on your mat. Anything you may have carried onto your mat with you today, with each exhale, begin to let it go. Give yourself permission to be fully present. And anything else can wait for you. Begin to consciously deepen your inhale now. Draw your breath down into the belly. Feel it expand. And we're going to begin to breathe in for a count of 4. And see if you can breathe out for a count of 6. So making that exhale a little bit longer, a little bit more controlled. When we slowly exhale, we actually help to increase the amount of CO2 in the body, which helps us absorb oxygen more efficiently. Give it one more cycle of breath here on your own. And when you're ready, open your mouth and sigh out your next exhale. Inhale, open your eyes. Reach your arms up and overhead. Stretch your fingertips, push into your heels. As you exhale, bring your knees into your belly. Give yourselves a little cuddle. Take easy movement side to side. All right, so we're going to start to direct our awareness to those hips here, because that's our focus for the next hour or so. Bring your hands onto their knees, onto their corresponding knees. Keep your low back stamped on the floor. Move your legs apart. Push them forward. Bring them together and bring them in. So you're making a big circle. Then try to make that movement a little more fluid. And instead of assisting the movement, we're going to resist. So push your hands into your legs and make the movement a little bit more difficult. So instead of stirring a pot, you're going to think about kind of resisting the movement of those legs and the muscles around the hips. Take your circles in the other direction and just notice if this resistance changes the quality in any way. Try and keep your low back on the floor. Notice what's happening in the pelvis. Nice, everyone. And then when you're ready, bring those feet down onto the mat. Bring your feet as wide as your mat, and we're going to bring our arms by your hips. You're going to, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Bring your left hand to your left hip and your right hand to your right leg, because this is going just to give you feedback, trying to keep these areas still. So we're going to lower just your left knee towards the inside edge of your mat. Keep your right leg still, keep your pelvis still. So we're going to draw your knee in, so this is internal rotation of your hip, and then we're going to draw it out, external rotation. Do this really slowly. Notice if your pelvis is trying to do the movement for the hip. Now it's really important, keep it going. Really important to be able to distinguish between pelvic movement and hip movement. Really good for the health of the hips to be able to do both independently. Nice, and then just bring your hands away for a moment and see if you can keep this movement going. It should feel a little bit harder without your hands helping to ground that leg and pelvis. Ooh. And then come back through center. Nice, let's bring the right hand to the right hip bone. So the top of that hip, you should feel a little bony protrusion. Left hand to left thigh. And then we're gonna take the knee in towards the midline, keep the left leg still, and then open it out. So we're working on our internal and external rotation of the hip. Keep the pelvis still, and we're isolating this just to that right hip. Move as slow as you can. Make the movement difficult, so you're coming through the full range of your hip. You know what, I'll actually show you from this vantage point. Maybe it's a little bit easier to see, so I'm going to show you my legs. So moving in and moving out. And then when you're ready, we're going to find stillness. Go ahead and bring your knees in towards your belly. Give yourselves a cuddle. We're going to cross our right leg over the left. So cross at your shins for now. Flex your feet and either hold on to your opposite shin with the opposite hand. So left hand to the right leg, right hand, the left leg, or you could catch your feet. Now the heels will really want to lower, so see if you can lift your feet and flex them and draw your feet towards your shoulders. We're looking for a little tug through the outside edge of your hips. And maybe find a little movement side to side. Should feel nice. Nice. And we're going to find stillness and switch the cross of your legs. Left shin on top of the right. Grab your shins or your feet and then find maybe a little movement. Now instead of just making the shape, we have some engagement. So you're pushing through those feet. I can see those nice active feet. Nicely done. Draw your feet back towards your shoulders. We're in a reclined Gomukhasana variation. Oof, nice. And then relax. Bring your feet down. Lift just your left leg up with a little bend in your knee. We're going to point and flex your foot. Come through the full range of the ankle. So you're finding that boundary. And then we're going to circle that ankle one way. Now, it may not be the first thing that comes to mind with hip mobility, but ankle mobility, strength and mobility, is actually crucial to happy, healthy hips. We're going to take it around the other way. Slow the movement down. You'll be tempted to go really quickly, slow, so you can feel all those muscles around the ankle firing up. Nice. And then we're going to do a new movement, maybe new to you. So we're going to turn the toes down just a bit, not an active flex, but just enough. And then we're going to turn the pinky toe edge of the foot to the floor. And then we're going to turn the big toe edge of the foot to the floor. So you're rocking your foot side to side. And I'm going to come a little closer to the camera, just so hopefully you can see a little bit better. So we're going side to side, side to side. Whoop, almost fell. And then I'll show you the other side, side to side. And this should feel like you're cultivating heat. Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling warm from this, if you're feeling a bit fired up. Good, you're doing it right then, amazing. And then when you're ready, you've had enough. Your ankle should be a little bit warm now. Just give it a nice little shake, give it a little wiggle. And then we'll do the other foot. So lift the right leg up, point and flex a few times. Notice any sensation that you start to feel through the front of the shin and the back of the leg. And then we're going to take it around in these circles. And again, we're isolating this movement as much as we can to the ankle. Your whole leg may be trying to get involved now because maybe the muscles around the ankle are weak. So try to keep your leg still. And take it around the other way. And observe how this ankle may be quite different than the other. My right ankle is much easier for me to mobilize and manipulate than my left. Woof. And then find stillness. And then we're going to turn the pinky toe edge of the foot to the floor and then the big toe edge of the foot. So you're just rocking and rolling back and forth. So if you were standing, you'd be standing on the inside edge of the foot and then the outside edge of the foot. So this is called eversion and inversion of the ankle, but you don't need to remember that. It's just a new movement to help strengthen and also to get those signals firing to the brain. Ooh. And then let it go, give it a nice little shake of the legs. Yeah, nice. Bring your hands behind your thighs, and we're gonna rock up. Find a tabletop. So bring your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And just from doing those ankle exercises, I'm actually getting hot, which is kind of funny. Okay, so tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to firm through the low belly. Remember, this is an engagement, not a clench. Extend your left leg behind you, toes on the mat for now, and engage through your glutes. So those left glutes already are fired up. As you exhale, lift your left leg up. Now, a lot of us will be tempted to collapse in the belly and the shoulders because that will get the leg higher. Now, it doesn't matter how high the leg is, it's about engagement. So push through the heel, keep your spine extended in neutral, and maybe if you feel strong and steady, extend your right arm in front of you, like we're in a little baby warrior 3. Reach through the fingers, push your left heel back like you're pushing your heel into a wall. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to bring our right hand back to the mat and bring your left knee into your belly. We're going to circle that left leg out 3 times. So push your leg out to the side, take it around in a massive and slow circle. Notice if your right arm is collapsing, keep both arms really strong. And we're isolating this movement as much as we can to the hip. Notice if your pelvis is trying to get involved. Woo. And then we'll go the other way around. That's it, everyone. Really good. Keep squeezing your heels to your bum. Slow it down, slow it down. I see some of you speeding through. I know it's tempting to speed through. Ooh, nice. And then once you've done 3 on both sides, gently lower your knee to the mat. Move through cat-cow. Keep your attention in the hips. Inhale, drop the belly, lengthen the sternum, tailbone lifts. And exhale to round. Just take a few of these on your own. Move with your unique cycle of breath. Keep breathing in and out of your nose whenever possible. Notice how the rhythm of your breath may have changed. Nice, everyone. And then we'll meet in a neutral position. Same thing on the right side. Extend your right leg, firm through the low belly so our pelvis is in neutral, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. As you exhale, lift your leg up with strength. Notice if you have to collapse in the belly in order to lift the leg higher. Extend your left arm in front if you feel steady, and extend through the fingers, extend through the heel. Turn your thumbs up. That's it. Nice, everyone. Like you're hitchhiking in a really awkward hitchhiking position. Nice. Take one more deep inhale in. Exhale, left hand to the floor, right knee into your belly. Isolate these circles to that right hip. Everything else is as still as you can keep it. Just look at one point on the floor, 3 slow circles in both counter and clockwise. Oof, and this should feel difficult. And we'll take it around the other way. I do these circles all the time, and they really don't seem to get much easier after a certain point. There's always going to be that little shakiness as those glutes engage to help move the hip. Whew. And once you've done 3 on both sides, we're going to bring the knees to the mat. Tuck your toes, and again, firm through the low belly. As you exhale, hover your knees off the mat. Push into your hands. Find engagement and a neutral spine. And then slowly lift up and back, downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide, strong arms, and then go ahead and take your dog for a walk, bending one leg at a time. Or any other movement that you know would feel good in your body. Maybe move the head a little side to side. Maybe move your hips side to side, getting a little tug through the sides of the glutes. Yeah, nice everyone. Lovely variation. And then we'll meet in a neutral dog when you're ready. Bend your knees, look forward. And we're going to take several steps to our hands. So you're just going to do little tiptoes to your hands. Take as many as you can and try to get as close to your wrists as you can, and then fold down. Bend your knees, and it will probably feel good to come off your wrists, maybe grabbing opposite elbows here. Take a few deep breaths, either in movement or in stillness. Make sure your knees are bent here and your head is heavy and relaxed. Nice, everyone. And then gently bring your hands down to the floor. As you inhale, slowly start to roll up to stand. Chin tucked to your chest, head is heavy, until we're standing. Now I'm just curious, give me a show of thumbs if you know where neutral is in your pelvis. If you know how to find neutral pelvis, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. A few of you do, not all of you, but that's fine. That's why we're here. So we're gonna work it out right now. Very easy to do. Well, easy-ish. So find these 2 bony protrusions in the front of your hip. This is the front of the pelvis. You have a pelvis, you have these bones. And then we're gonna bring our hands slightly inside of those bones. Now, if you notice your fingers are kind of moving in and back, you're probably tilting your pelvis forward. If you feel like your fingers are pushing forward and away, you might be leaning back. I'm just over-exaggerating. So we want to find the balance between the tailbone moving out and over-tucking. So your fingers should point straight down. You may need a little glute engagement to get there. It depends on you. Everyone has a different pelvis. And you'll want to feel like your low ribs are drawing in as well. So remember, those of you who did that deep core foundations class with me, that transverse abdominis, just a little cinching in. And that will again help your glutes to fire. And now your spine hopefully is in neutral. Draw your head back just a little bit as if you're pushing your head into somebody's hand. And now we're in a beautiful neutral position. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. You think you found neutral? You're looking good. Okay, good. And it can take some practice. It takes some time. So if it doesn't happen the first time, that's fine. Inhale, let's sweep our arms up and overhead. Push into your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Bring your hands to your pelvis and see if you can find neutral here. So again, notice if your belly is kind of dropping out and down. As you exhale, draw your low ribs in and notice your pelvic points here. Just like we did standing, and then slowly lower down. We're gonna bring the hands down, step back into a downward facing dog, spread your fingers wide. Take a deep inhale in, exhale, sigh it out. We're gonna do a little variation on Malasana, but with our hands down. So as you inhale, look forward, step your feet just midway between your hands and your feet. So you're just stepping forward a little bit, and it'll vary based on you. Now we're gonna turn our toes out and our heels in. So toes out, heels in. Keep your hands on the floor, and you're reaching your hands away from you, just like you would do in your down dog, trying to maintain a neutral spine and a neutral pelvis. Draw your hips back as you reach your hands forward. Now, if your hands are having difficulty finding their way to the mat, that's where our blocks, our props come in. So you want to use some blocks. That's absolutely fine with me. Think about moving your knees outward actively. So you're pushing into the pinky toe edge of your feet. Nice, that looks good, everyone. And then we're going to do a little variation here. So we're going to start to lower your right knee towards the floor. So you're going to start to lower your right knee all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Bring your left shin to the floor, come down to the bum. Use your legs as much as you need to here. So if I had been facing forward, if I was facing forward, where would I be? Here, okay. So we've got these little like stag legs, and you're gonna bring your heels in. And I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna show you my back leg, because that's important. So have the top of your back foot down, and your feet are tucked inwards. Push into that back foot, turn on your glutes a little bit, and draw your tail down. There'll probably be a tendency to lean forward. We're gonna start to lean back, and we're looking for a tug through the front of your right hip. Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling a stretch through the front of the right hip. Yes, amazing. All right, inhale, we're gonna lengthen the spine, lift tall. Bring your hands behind your head, hug your elbows in. And as you exhale, we're just gonna start to round down. So you can allow that beautiful posture to go. And then we're gonna just lift up and roll down a few times. So we're just gonna get a little slouchy, but you're gonna keep your glutes on just enough. Move with your own breath, and this should feel really nice. It should feel really juicy for the front of that right hip. Keep moving with your breath. We're just doing a little neural flossing for the nerves that run across the front of your hip. And then slowly, we're gonna start to lift up. Nice. We're gonna come into a twist with a lengthened spine now. So take a deep inhale, lengthen from your tail to the crown of your head. As you exhale, twist towards your left leg, bringing your right hand onto that leg, and just take it around, a nice juicy little twist here. Nothing too big. Try and find the rotation through the mid part of your spine. I see a few of you leaning back on your back hand. See if you can make that back hand a little lighter. So you could even pick it up if you wanted to. Slowly come back through center. We're gonna come back into, no, I changed my mind. We're actually not. We're gonna bring our hands behind us first. Before we lift up, we're going to move our heels out just a little bit. So just move your feet forward so that you can just windshield wiper your legs side to side. Now see how slow you can make this movement. So we're moving from internal rotation to external. And remember that internal rotation is just as important as external, but just doesn't get enough attention in yoga. We're almost always like, open the hips, external rotation. But both are important for healthy hips. Your joint wants to move through its full range. All the joints do. Nice. And then we're going to lift those legs up. You can use your back hand to push you forward, and we're gonna come back into this Malasana variation. Reach through the fingertips, back to where we started. Nice. And then we're gonna look forward and softly step forward. Find a forward fold, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift halfway, bring your hands to your hips, firm through the low belly, and then lower down. Inhale, lift up to stand, palms touch, look up. And exhale, hands come down. Woof. Nicely done. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, bend your knees to fold forward. Notice your pelvis here, what's happening. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Now you can bring your hands to your hips and just, you can kind of play with, tucking, over tucking the tail, over tilting the tail, and trying to find that balance. Lower down. Let's step back to our downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale in. Open your mouth, let it go. This time we're gonna lift onto the balls of the feet. So your heels will lift up. We're gonna turn our toes to the right side, heels to the left. You should feel a nice little tug through the outer right hip. And then turn to the other side. Keep on the balls of the feet for these two. And then if you want a little deeper, you could turn your toes to the right, and you're gonna bend your left knee. So toes to the right, left knee bends, and you may feel a little bit more stretch. And then take it around to the other side. So if you're confused about which knee to bend, try bending both, and really only one side is gonna work. Really only one side is going to be the one. And then we'll come back through center. We're going to come back into this Malasana with hands down. So look forward, step halfway to your hands, heels in, toes out. Grab your blocks if you need them and encourage your knees outwards. The knees will want to fall in, so encourage them to move out. Feel the inner thighs fire up. And for this one, with engagement through the legs, see if you can just hover your fingertips off the floor, reaching forward, maintaining a neutral spine. You should start to feel some heat. That's it, everyone. Reach, reach, reach. And then lower your hands down. We're going to lower the left knee to the mat as slow as you can. Left leg all the way down, and then the right leg will come all the way down. Bring your heels in. I'm just going to keep showing you my back leg. So the top of that back foot is down. Engage through those left glutes, and you're going to move back with the tail just a little bit. And you can play with how wide your legs are as well. Your body's different than mine. Bring your hands behind your head, inhale. Exhale, you're just going to roll down and roll up a few times. Now this should feel really nice. Yeah, bring those elbows into your face as well, everyone. You've got those elbows really wide, which is fine, but bring the elbows in. Nice. Move a little slower. A little slower. Try to use your full breath to take you down and to take you up. Maybe close your eyes. Nicely done, everyone. And then when you're ready, slowly make your way back up, and we're going to lengthen the spine. Remember, every twist, we want to start from a lengthened spine. As you exhale, twist towards your right leg, left hand onto your leg, and a little less in the neck. I'm seeing a lot of the neck. Don't worry about the neck so much. Try to find it through this mid part of the spine. Gently come back through center. Bring your hands behind you, and you're just going to move your feet forward a bit so they're a little less tucked. And you're just going to move side to side. This is a really lovely way to mobilize through the hips and just to get them feeling a little juicier. Getting them feeling a little bit better. Whew. Nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to plant both of those feet down. See if you can use a different arm this time. So it's probably going to be the less intuitive arm behind you. And start to push yourself back up, coming into our little Malasana variation. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands, find a forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, lift to stand, palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands down. All right, we're going to work on a little bit more hip awareness and mobility. So first we're going to move from this, you can bend your knees as much as you want, by the way. We're going to move from this hips forward position, so you're kind of sticking your booty out. And then we're going to move from this tucked position. So I just want you to do a few of these here. And try to keep the upper part of your spine as still as possible. It'll really want to go. See if you can just isolate this as much as you can to the pelvis. So we're just tucking and tilting. Yeah, that's it, everyone. Kind of like a little yoga twerk. Get to twerk. Nice, everyone. And then find stillness. And then we're going to move the hips out to the side now. So you're going to move your hips out to one side. You'll probably need to bend your knees. That's fine. Take it round behind you to the other side and forward. And then in a little circle. And try to isolate this to the hips. Yeah, nice. You're going to be looking real good on the dance floor when we can finally go out. And then we'll move the other side. So you're just going to move it around the other way. And really have your hands on your hips. Even instead of this, have your hands on the outside edge of the hips. So you can feel these muscles working. You feel that little contraction. Yeah, nice. Y'all looking good. All right. And then just give it a little shake, a little wiggle. Whatever you got to do. All right, let's come to the top of the mat. We're going to add on to the sequence we've been playing with. Inhale, sweep your arms high. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to your hips. Find the tuck and the tilt of your tail without bringing the rest of your spine and your neck with you. So just isolate this as slow as you can. So we're moving through the lumbar spine and the pelvis. This is a really lovely thing to be able to do for the spine and the hips. It can be really difficult at first. Try to keep your knees still. Try to keep your knees still. Still bent though, that's it, and then lower down. If that was a bit confusing, that's okay. It is confusing. And then we're going to step back, find your down dog, lengthen your spine. Any little movements, or maybe you're ready to be still. Or if you really like those twists we did before, that's cool too. Nice, inhale, let's look forward. Exhale, step forward, find your halfway Malasana, heels and toes out. I need to come up with a better name. Come onto the fingertips. We're gonna lower your right knee to the floor, slow as you can. Do whatever you need to with your hands here. And we're gonna lower down. Bring your back heel in, or both heels in, top of the back foot down, turn on your glutes. Bring your hands behind your head, let's roll down. Inhale to roll up. Exhale, twist to the left leg. Inhale, face forward. Face the same direction as your pelvis. We're gonna add on to this movement now. We're gonna make it a little harder. Bring your hands to your hips and make sure that your knees are on your mat or cushioned. As you exhale, we're gonna lift up to stand on your left shin and your right knee. So you're just gonna push the pelvis forward. Yeah, that's it. And try not to push into the legs. Try to keep your hands on the hips. That's it, and then slowly lower down. Exhale, lift up, turn on your glutes to push and propel your hips forward. Lower on down. Nicely done, everyone. Just one more. Exhale to lift. Nice. And then we're gonna do a little trick here. You're gonna step your right foot towards your left knee. So you can have your hands down, or to play with your balance, step. See how that goes? Nice. Come to stand facing the back of your mat. Back of your mat. Nice, everybody. Whew. And now we're going to bring the right knee up towards your belly. Come into a one-legged mountain pose. Nice. We're going to turn your knee down, internal rotation, and then you're going to turn the knee out. So remember, it isn't moving in and out. This is abduction and adduction. We want to turn in, and we're going to turn out. In and out. Nice. One more. Come to neutral, draw your knee up, and as you exhale, slowly send your leg behind you. Come into Crescent Lunge, facing the back of the mat. If you need to bring me with you, if you need to change where I am in your room, maybe grab me. Bend your back knee, and we're gonna move through these hip circles that we did standing in a clockwise motion. So you're gonna bump your hips to the right, take them behind you, to the left, and then forward. And then you're just gonna take it around in a really fluid circle. I know it seems a little silly, but this is actually a really nice thing to do for the hips, to keep them mobile and supple. That's my word of the week, supple. And then we're gonna meet in a neutral crescent. Bend your back knee, come all the way down to a 90-90 lunge. Turn on through your back glutes. Well, you don't have any front glutes, do you? Turn on through your right glutes. And as you engage through your glutes, you want to feel a nice tug through the front of your hip. These are the hip flexors that can get quite tight. And the best way to get into your hip flexors is to have your glutes firing. Now we're going to bring the hands behind your head. And very similar to what we did before, we're going to allow our posture to get sloppy. We're going to round the back. We're going to roll down, but keep your glutes on. And as you inhale, you're going to roll up. Just a few of these. And we're also getting into the nerves in the front of the thigh here as well. This should feel really good. And everyone will experience this a little differently. You'll maybe feel it in a totally different area than somebody else, and that's fine, as long as it's not pain. And inhale, let's roll up when you're ready. Give me a thumbs up if you liked that, if you found a good little stretch there. Good, okay, nice. Some of you are like, I hated it. No, that's fine. And then we're going to lift the arms up nice and high. We're going to play with our balance and come back into our one-legged mountain pose at the back of the mat. So tuck your back toes, lean forward to lift up. Draw your knee up to your belly. Point your toes. Hands can come on the hips. Open your right leg out to the right for an active tree pose. So feel your outer hips fire up. And then you're going to step out, active goddess pose. So now we're in the center of the mat. My short legs are too short for these pants. And then we're going to sink into goddess. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your tailbone. Notice if you're leaning forward. Try to lean back, drawing the contents of the belly back and the tail down. That'll make it a lot harder. Encourage your knees to move out. And then we're going to play with a little engagement here in the hips. So bring your hands to the inner knees and push your knees into your hands and your hands into the knees at the same time. So you're pushing both even forces here. And notice what muscles engage. Probably your glutes. Those muscles around the hip. Nice. Come to the outside edge of your knees. Push outwards now into your hands, and the hands are pushing in. Find the balance. You're going to feel some heat. It's going to feel like a lot. Oh, and then let go and come up to stand. Whew. Give me a thumbs up if you felt some extra engagement from that. Good. Come to face forward in a crescent lunge. So the back heel lifts. Inhale, reach your arms high and engage through the glutes. Notice your pelvis here. Is it neutral? Exhale, step forward. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Step back, find your down dog. Take a deep inhale in. Open the mouth, let it go. This time, inhale, lift your right leg high, three-legged dog. Use your glutes to lift the leg to keep that low back supported. Bend your knee, and then we're going to circle 3 times with that leg. So big, slow circles, big and slow. You're going to want to go fast. I know it. And then slow circles the other way. Feel the muscles around the hip work. Glutes are on. And then we're going to find stillness. Lift the heel, look forward. Step your right foot just halfway between your hands and feet. And left foot forward, heels in, toes out. Active little variation here. Lift your hands. Now, you can keep your arms down for this one, or maybe keep your arms lifted as you slowly lower your left knee to the floor and your right leg to the floor. And if that doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. You can keep your hands down. Bring your heels in, top of the back foot down. Bring your hands to the head. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, roll up. Glutes are still on. Exhale, twist to the right, I think. Is that right? Yes, it is. To that right leg. Inhale, come back to face center. All right, I'm just going to stay with my back to you because I think it's good to see from different vantage points. We're going to come forward onto that forward shin, hands to the pelvis. As you exhale, you're going to lift up. Use your glutes to push your hips forward, and then slowly lower as you inhale. Exhale, lift up. Make sure your knees are cushioned. This shouldn't cause pain. Slowly lower. Just one more lift up. Hands on the hips. Now we're going to step that left foot towards your right knee. So you're going to step forward, and then we're going to use the direction we're already going in to face the back of the mat. Now, if you are confused and you don't want to face the back of the mat, you can just face forward. It's okay. It's fine. I'm just going to face the back of the mat. So we're going to bring that left leg up, bring your knee in, and we're going to internally rotate so the knee turns down, externally rotate, and move as slow as you can. So instead of just this nonsense, find some engagement here. Make it really difficult to come to the full end range, so the leg stops. Full end range going in. Whew. And then find stillness. Slowly send your leg behind you. We'll meet in crescent. Right leg forward, left leg back. We're going to take our hips around in a clockwise motion. So moving your right hip out, back, left, forward, and around. You're going to want to have a little bend through your back knee. Do keep your hands on your hips so you're getting that feedback of what the hips are doing, what the pelvis is doing, how it's moving, and then the brain will be able to interpret that information a little more accurately. And then we'll find stillness. Hands on the hips are up. Exhale, bring your knee to the mat. 90-90 lunge. So left knee under left hip. Give your left glutes a little poke. Again, touching a muscle is the best way to get it to fire and get your brain to understand what you want from it. A little tuck of the tail. Keep your glutes on. Feel that nice tug. I just love this so much. Find a nice tug through the front of the hip. Hands behind your head. Exhale, you're going to roll down. Allow your posture to get sloppy. And inhale, you'll roll up. Now you may notice, as I do, that this side feels quite different from the other side. You may feel the stretch in a totally different area, which I absolutely do. So keep breathing, keep moving. Should feel really juicy. And then gently lift back up. Nice, we're gonna propel ourselves forward. So tuck the back toes, lift up, one-legged mountain pose, knee into the belly. Point your toes, bring your knee out to the left. Active tree pose. Feel those muscles on the hip fire. Bring the knee back and the foot forward a little more. Yeah, and then we're gonna take it behind us, goddess pose. Hand to low back and one hand to the belly and draw the tail down. See how that feels. Bring your hands to the inside edge of your knees. Push into your hands as you push the hands back. Find the balance between these two oppositional forces. And the other side, hands to the outside edge. Notice which different muscles in the hips need to start to work. I don't know why I'm snapping. I'm getting excited. And then slowly lift up. Oof. We're going to go ahead and turn to face forward. So that left foot is forward. Right heel lifts. Come into your crescent lunge or high lunge. And now your back glutes, I keep saying that, the right glutes, they're all in the back. Your right glutes are on. And then we'll step forward. Tadasana. Reach your arms high, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, we're going to step back and come into our down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts high. Engage through your glutes. Keep the legs straight for a moment. Straight, straight, straight. Push through the heel. Now go ahead and bend your knee. Point your toes. 3 circles, slow and steady, one way. Nice, everyone. Don't lose it in your arms. The right arm will generally want to bend, will want to collapse. Woof, take it around the other way. Steady your breath. Nice, everyone. Nice, big, slow circles. And once you've done 3, both directions, lift your left leg high, look forward. Step your left foot halfway between the hands and feet, heel in, toes out, and the right leg follows suit. Reach through the fingertips. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, lower your right knee to the floor. Maybe arms are lifted this time. Lower down. Nice. Bring those heels in. Back foot to the floor. Exhale, roll down. Glutes are on. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to forward. Hands on hips. Exhale, push your hips up high. I'm just gonna scooch back. Gonna scooch back. Nice, and then we're gonna step that right foot to the left knee. Give it a step. Turn to face the back of the mat. Lift your right leg up high. Turn your knee in, so it's looking like this. Send it behind you and take 3 circles with an internally rotated leg. We're just trying to balance out how much we externally rotate in yoga. Those muscles that internally rotate are just as important. Ooh, and it should feel a little bit hard. That's it, nice everyone. And then slowly send it behind you, crescent. Now we're going to bend that back knee, glutes are on a bit. We're gonna take it around counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. So I think to the right first, yeah, to the right, forward, to the left, and back. And then try to make it smooth. Do keep your hands on your hips, that's it, nice everyone, so you can feel what's happening, which muscles are working. Just getting those hips all juiced up, woof. Nice, come to stillness. Bring your right knee to the floor, 90-90 lunge. Turn on through the glutes so you can open up through the front of the hip more effectively. It's actually kind of crazy how much more effective that is. And then hands behind your head, inhale. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, roll up. Nice. This time, we're going to take it back into a back bend with a few options. Option 1, hands to chest. You just lean back a little bit. Option 2, reach your right arm to your back foot or to the floor and see if you can catch your heel. Now you notice I just tucked my toes because that's the only way for me to catch my ankle. If I have my toes down, I'm not going to reach the ankle, and then maybe reach an arm on. You could also have your hand to a block. Remember, you could bring a block towards your back foot. Nice, everyone, glutes are still on. Inhale, let's come up through center, arms high. Exhale, one movement, step forward, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, active tree, point your toes, knee moves out. Step out, come into goddess. Encourage your knees to move outwards, feel your glutes work. And an option here, you could maybe lift your heels off the floor, lift through the arches, and sink a little deeper. Or maybe not. Maybe you're just like, Andy, I don't need that today, babe. And that's fine. Oop, I almost fell. Nice, come on up. Oh, should feel good. And then we'll face forward, crescent lunge. Bring that left glute on so it's really strong. I'm always touching my left glute because it's so lazy. I'm always having to remind it to engage. Nice, and then we're gonna step forward, find a one-legged mountain pose, left leg up. Give your leg a little cuddle. Roll your ankle 3 times one way. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Even slower. And then the other way. Come to the point where it's shaky. Some of you are still moving too quickly. It should feel shaky. It should feel like your neural map in your brain is confused. Doesn't know what to do. Woo. And then let it go. Woo. Give it a good old shake. Nice. All right, we got just one more side to do. Same sequence, other side. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold it on down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Let's step back, downward facing dog. You can find movement or find stillness. Deep inhale in. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your feet in, just halfway, heels in, toes out. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, left leg starts to come down, maybe arms on the floor, maybe lifted, doesn't matter, whatever feels good to you. Heels in, top of the foot down, glutes on. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to slowly round down. Find that nice tug. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist towards the right, left hand to right leg. Inhale, come back through center. Make sure your knees are on your mat. And as you exhale, push up to stand on your right shin. Step that left foot to the right knee. Step up, face the back of the mat. Bring your left leg up. Nice. Take a deep inhale in. And as you exhale, let's turn that left knee down and take it around. So remember, we're internally rotating. Some of you still have the knee in a neutral position, so we want it in. And this is really weird, and it should feel a bit awkward. Yeah, that's it. Nice, everyone. And keep adjusting. It'll want to come back to neutral. We won't really like this. Yeah, bring the knee up and slowly send behind you. High lunge. Back glutes are on. I can't stop. I'm sorry. The back glutes are on, everyone. Turn off the front glutes. And then we're going to come into those anti-clockwise circles. Yeah. So we're going to move to the right and then forward and then left and back and try to make it smooth. Maybe even close your eyes. If you close your eyes anytime, any movement, you'll get that feedback a little bit more cleanly, if that makes sense. The feedback from the body will just be that more clear. And then we're gonna bend the back knee, set it down, 90-90 lunge. Left glutes are on, hands behind the head. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, roll down. Nice deep breaths. Inhale, slowly start to lift up. Oh, that just feels so good. Give me a thumbs up if you just are like loving that shape. I don't know if it's just me. You're loving it, yeah. Okay, we're gonna bring our hands either to the chest or maybe to your left heel and maybe reach your right arm up. Remember, your hand can also be on a block here. We could use a block, that's also fine. And then slowly come back up. Look forward, try to make this one fluid movement. Step up, one-legged mountain. You can bring your hands together on the hips, point your toes, active tree pose, engage through the hips, step out, big movement, come into your goddess squat. Draw the tail down, notice your knees, and maybe you need to bring your feet a little bit closer together, maybe a little bit wider. You want your knees roughly over your ankles here. Maybe lift your heels up and see if you can really lift through the inner arches. This is really strengthening your ankles, which is great for your hips. Strong ankles, happy hips. One more deep inhale. Try not to lean forward so much. Lean back a little more. Lean back, lean back, lean back. That's it. Come all the way up. Oh. And then come into your high lunge, facing the top of the mat. So your right leg is back, left leg is forward. Exhale, one-legged mountain pose. Right leg up. Grab your shin and give your ankle 3 slow circles to the point where it is shaky. Whenever you feel kind of like that fuzziness, that shakiness through a joint, it's just because the motor cortex in the brain doesn't have that feedback quite mapped out yet. So we're giving it that feedback now. Take it around the other way. Keep breathing. Notice if you're holding your breath or clenching your jaw. Oh, I'm so sweaty. And then let it go. And give it a nice little shake. Whatever you gotta do. All right, one more little workout for the ankles before we set down. Bring your feet together, if possible. Engage through the legs, find neutral pelvis. So again, hands on the front of the hip bones. Just notice what's happening. We all have our preferences. Most of us, almost all of us, have a preference to be here with the booty out a bit. Most of us. Come onto the balls of the feet, lift your heels, and engage through your glutes. Notice if your ankles are wiggly wobbling around, push into the big toe joint. Lift the arches more. Nice. And all of you look really steady. Good. Notice if one ankle is harder to control than the other, and then slowly lower down and lift up. Let's just do like 5 of these. One leg will be stronger than the other, so try not to overly compensate. Your strong side wants to do all the work. You'll notice, if you're right-handed, you'll always grab with your right hand. You'll always want to balance on the right leg. It'll just want to do all the work, for most of us. And then let's lift the heels up. Stay lifted. Reach your arms in front of you. We're going to come into a toe stand. So bend your knees. Slowly start to lower. Hug those inner thighs together. Come down. So your bum maybe is on your heels. Knees are forward. I'll just show you side profile. Now notice if your ankles are wiggling, push into those big toes, soften your shoulders. You're still in a neutral pelvis. Look at that. And that will help you balance more effectively. So head over shoulders, shoulders over pelvis. And then we're just gonna rock down to the bum. Get there however you need to. Nicely done. Let's just give ourselves a nice little cuddle. Just roll forward and down. Relax your head. Maybe open and close your mouth a little, release through the jaw. Nice, everyone. And then slowly come up to a seat. We're gonna talk about pigeon pose because in yoga, we love to say things like hip openers, but like what does that really mean? What are we opening? We love external rotation, which is fine and it's nice. But we want to do it in a mindful way. So grab a block or a pillow or a cushion or a book, doesn't matter. And we're going to use this underneath our thigh to do a supported pigeon to give us a little bit more control over the shape. Because when we're using our full body weight onto the leg in this way, it can be quite a lot for most of us. So you want to have the block supporting your thigh. And you'll have to play with it a little. It should feel good. You don't want to feel like it's digging into you. So I'm just going to set it up. I'm going to say, that's about good, and I'm just going to get onto it. So left leg forward, right leg behind. So I'm just going to sit down, and then I'll just adjust as I get seated. So it's more under the thigh than the glute. And then I'm going to bring my right leg behind me. Now, you should feel right away that you just have a little bit more support here. And we're going to make it a little bit more nuanced and controlled. So hands down in front of you, or wherever your hands fall, doesn't matter, wherever they most naturally feel comfortable. Push your forward shin down into the floor. So as you push it down, you actually feel that energy come back and you find a little lift. So your hands are very light. Flex through your left foot, spread your toes, and push through the ball of the foot. So your left foot is active, your ankle is active, and you should feel a little bit more fired upness through that outer left hip. Give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. You're feeling a little more support. Cool, great, nice, we love that. Now we're just going to hold here. Instead of passively flopping down, we're going to keep this engagement, pushing into the leg, and we're just going to notice how this feels maybe a bit different. Keep your foot active. I'm just going to show you what my forward leg looks like, just for some of you who I can see maybe a bit confused. So the forward leg roughly looks like this, but it's fine if the heel needs to come in more, that's okay. It doesn't have to be parallel with the front of the mat, but as long as there's engagement there. But you don't really want to be sitting on the top of the foot if possible. Nice, and then we're going to slowly come away and we'll just switch sides. So we're going to get the block underneath that right thigh and give it a little play. You can always get a cushion under there as well, make it soft, that's also a really great thing to do. Support yourself and do make sure it's following the line of your thigh. Left leg behind you, so the top of the left knee is down, and now I can actually get my right leg pretty much parallel to the front of the mat, but that's only because I'm on the block and lifted up quite high. So hands forward, hands can also be on blocks. Hands can be on blocks, that's fine. Push down that forward shin, push through the ball of the foot, spread your toes. So look at your big toe. You can see that joint under your big toe. You want that to be pushing forward. Now you find a little bit more lift, and you should be feeling a little more engagement through that outer right hip. Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling okay. Good, nice everyone. Good. One more cycle of breath here. Really embody the pose. You don't want to feel like you're clenching or holding your breath ever. Even though there's some engagement, we still want to be breathing very, very deeply. And then we're going to slowly come off however you need to, and we'll just take it back into a child's pose. I think a well-deserved child's pose. Any variation that feels good in your body. Take a few breaths here and just notice how your hips are feeling. Nice. Inhale, slowly lift up. Bring your legs in front of you, roll down onto your back. Bring your knees in, give yourselves a squeeze. Lift your nose up to your knees, lift your shoulders, lift your arms up. Uncross your legs if they're crossed, reach higher, higher, higher. And then lower all the way down. Oh, should feel good. Come into Shavasana. Any variation that suits you. If it's available, close your eyes and your mouth. Take a moment to observe any sensations occurring around your hips. Maybe there's a bit of heat there. Maybe more of a feeling of softness or opening. Allow the rest of the body to grow heavy and soft. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your belly. Notice the movement of your rib cage. When you're ready, take a deep inhale in, fill the belly, the lungs, the chest, the throat, and when you're ready, open your mouth, let it all go. Gently roll your head side to side, wiggle the fingers and toes. Inhale, reach your arms high, stretch your fingers, point your toes. Exhale, roll to your right hand side, bring your knees to your belly, chin to chest. Inhale, lift to a seat. Try and keep your eyes closed if you can, your face soft. Inhale, hands together at heart center. Exhale, bow your head. Press your thumbs between your eyebrows. Take one last moment of stillness here. Inhale, lift your head, open your eyes, and thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me today. Do let me know how you found this practice, and if any of you are interested in learning a little more about anatomy as it pertains to yoga and pertains directly to your practice, I have a newsletter that I send out a few times a month all about yoga anatomy goodness. So if that sounds good, you can send me your email.